Hi, I'm Karen Golder, and together with my husband Murray, we run Breathe Communities in Penzance and online now. I've been asked to share a little bit with you about our missional adventure in pioneering and planting. And so I'm going to split it into three parts. I'm going to give you a little bit of a back history, tell you about how Breathe runs now, and tell you why we're running it in that way. So our story, our missional adventure started quite a few years ago. We've been married 25 years and it's quite a ways back into that. And we were cross-cultural missionaries in Central Asia for a number of years. So our background is in contextualizing the message of Jesus and making bridges so that people can understand it. And so this is what we have brought into our life back in the UK. We had a lovely ministry out in Central Asia, and unfortunately our daughter got ill and has ended up being disabled from it, and we ended up having to relocate back to the UK. So we led a church in Derby for 5 years, and then we relocated relocated down here to Cornwall. And we weren't really sure. We knew that God wanted us to plant something, and He'd given us the name Breathe, but we weren't really sure what that was going to look like. And then I went to a ministers' conference, and we were challenged to go away and pray. If we were given I think it was £10,000 and a YWAM team, what would we do with it? And as I prayed, God just downloaded a load of stuff. So moving on a few years, what does Breathe look like now? Well, if we weren't in lockdown, Breathe is in a shop unit. It's not a shop, but it's in a shop unit in the shopping centre in Penzance. And if you were to walk in, you would come across tables for doing creativity, and then a load of art resources, a bar for drinks, not alcoholic drinks, but for drinks, and then a seating area with a big screen, and then a prayer room, which is a very creative place in itself. And we are open 3 days a week. We're open all day Thursday, all day Friday, and then Saturday morning. And on Saturday morning, at the end of the morning, we have a gathering. We run on a fortnightly theme, so every fortnight there is a new theme, and all the creativity happens around that theme. And then on the Saturday, we meet together at the end of that time, and we show everybody gets an opportunity to show what they have created and the story behind it, and that sparks a lot of conversation and a lot of discipleship at that moment. But then there's also a little bit of teaching around the theme that's very multisensory and very it's quite short and to the point, and it gets everybody involved. So it's not just auditory, it's not just visual, it's very kinesthetic and gets everybody involved. The teaching comes at that time, but it's also drip fed throughout the week. As we meet around the tables and we create together, lots of conversations come up. So there's lots of opportunities for discipleship around the tables. We often get the Bible out and start looking at verses. What would you do about this situation? Well, let's have a look and see what the Bible says. And also we have one-to-one discipleship and small groups that we use that we do in the prayer room, and we do courses. We're doing the Bible course as well at the moment. So there's lots of informal teaching as well as formal teaching that goes on. We've got 3 core values. Our 3 core values are Breathe. So we want it to be a place where people can come in where they've had the stress of whatever's been going on during the day and just stop and just feel God's presence and feel His Spirit and be touched by Him. And it's amazing the amount of non-Jesus followers that come in and are touched by the situation. Our daughter goes to a special needs school, and her class have been regularly coming down, and the TAs and the teachers that come in they're touched by, there's an atmosphere of God in the place, and we want people to just feel that there's a place that they can stop and be and just be blessed. The second core value we have is create. So everybody can come in, use any of the resources that we've got for free and create around the theme. And we have people that do art, do painting, do drawing, but we also have people that write poems, we have people that knit, we have people that, we've got clay on the go and people make things out of clay, we've got people that make things out of boxes and all sorts of stuff. And so creativity is something that God put in us, and it makes us different. It's part of us that makes us stand out. We appreciate art in a way that animals cannot. And so we believe that as we are created, we're made in God's image in that way to be creative, and it does something to our psyche. It helps us to relate to God. And then grow is the other aspect of Breathe, the other core value. We want everybody to grow, whether it's in well-being, whether it's in skill, whether it's in friendship, or whether it's in if they choose a relationship with God and grow in that as well. Everybody is welcome into Breathe. It doesn't matter whether they have a faith or no faith. And they can come and just create and have conversations, sit and have a coffee. But those, if they want to, who want to grow in a relationship with God, can choose to do so as well. So we have lots of different people that come into Breathe. We have lots of creative people. We have some people that have got special needs. We have some people who are lonely that want some connectivity with other people during the week. And we have some people who have abused substances in the past. But one of the things that tends to hold people together that are part of Breathe is that they like to communicate in a different way. So our churches often communicate in one way, and we communicate in a slightly different way. So that brings me on to why. Why do we run Breathe the way we run it? Why do we not just come down and plant a normal, typical looking contemporary church? Well, there's a number of things that play into this. The first thing is that we took two verses in particular. One is Acts 2:42, where it says that the new believers held to the apostles' teaching, to the breaking of bread, to prayer and to fellowship. And the second one is from Matthew 28, where it talks about getting the good news out to people. So they're really key for us. And if we hold to those things, we've basically said all the church culture we're happy to let go as long as those non-negotiables are in place. So our teaching comes through the gathering and through one-to-one discipleship and through the courses, and is drip fed through the week. It's not in one big block. And we have fellowship together in our gathering, and we meet together at other times as well, and we have a WhatsApp group and things like that. So they're really important to us. But the other string to my bow is that I'm a primary school teacher and a qualified SENCO, which is a special needs coordinator, and also a trauma-informed practitioner. And as I was going through these trainings and I looked at my register, the national average for the UK for a special needs register is 14.9%. So 14.9% of children need extra help to communicate and learn within our schools. If you extrapolate that to adulthood, and take it to a point of looking at people who have special needs, but also people who are maybe have a different temperament. So we have a lot of artists, and there's a question about whether the whole right brain, left brain thinking thing is true or not. But there is definitely a different way that people communicate, and a way that people think. Some people think very linearly, and some people are very creative in the way they think. So that plays into how we run Breathe. And also people who have been through trauma as children. Often trauma will affect how you can access things in your rational and higher order thinking, even as an adult. And so a lot of people are affected by this. And as I look around our churches, we communicate very much in one way. We have a Victorian way of doing it, which is very empirical. The Victorians gave us loads of really good stuff, but we have this way of having a sermon, a half an hour sermon, where you have to be able to listen to it, hold it in your short-term memory, and then process it and then apply it to your life. I think there are at least 25% of the population in the UK who actually cannot do this, either because of things from their past or ways that they learn or their DNA makeup, that they cannot actually take that information, hold it and process it and get it out again. And I think we need to change the way that we communicate so that those people have access to God's teaching as well, and can grow and develop as disciples of Jesus in that way as well. So that's why we run Breathe differently from the way most churches run. That's why our teaching is done in a very different way, and that we use the whole week to bring about development and growth. If you'd like to know more, or are thinking of setting up a Breathe community in your area, please do get in touch. You'll see the information below to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.